Yeah, you know what, we may.
We are recording. At the very end, we have Councilwoman Kia Dawson. So she is actually my councilwoman, and puts up with a lot from my neighborhood. So I appreciate her being here despite that. So next to her, we have Jody Walters, who is the owner of Element Boutique here in Cleveland. Next, we have Councilwoman Mary McKenzie, who represents the Council District 1. And next to her, we have Edie West, Sergeant in Cleveland Police Department. And then Jenkins, who is Watch Farm Manager. And then last, but definitely not least, we have Sharon Couch, who happens to be a Pennsylvanian. Like, that's not a big deal at all. She's also working on her PhD in sports psychology, and currently she's working at the University of Tennessee System as a learning consultant and business partner. So I think we have so much knowledge and brilliance represented here, and I'm very excited to get started. So I'm going to start off with a quote that I think is really relevant to what we're doing here today. This is by Audre Lorde. She is one of our personal heroes and spectacular. And she says, when we define ourselves, when I define myself, the place in which I am like to do, the place in which I am not like to do, I'm not excluding you from the joining, I am brought to join. So I welcome you today to join and learning about these brilliant women and how they can serve as examples for our articles today. So, everybody ready to get started? Yeah. And please feel free to jump in with questions at any time. I don't like questions. Please jump in if you have questions. We welcome them. So I'm going to start, and this is kind of a free answer, however you want. How have your chosen field moved towards creating gender? Anybody want to?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is Kia Dawson. I serve as Chairman of the City Council representing the District 7. And how has our field moved towards creating gender equity? Well, I'm new to City Council, and I serve as the first African American woman for District 7. So I believe, we're trying. Equity is one of those things that you, depending on your field, you have to maneuver around and be intentional about what you're doing. So I think that being intentional around making, especially political fields, more diverse with different ethnic groups, with women, of course, is very important. So I think we're making strides in the area, but we do have a very, very long way to go.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jody Walters. I am Element, and we're a women's apparel boutique downtown Cleveland here. And it's kind of interesting. I guess if you pan out at the fashion industry as a whole, I think that there is a lot of improvement that needs to be made with respect to gender equity. Quite a big percentage of the lowest end jobs in the supply and manufacturing are women, and their positions are not typically great. When you're purchasing a lot of the inexpensive fast fashion brands, most of them are not very into with gender equity and the best positions for women. So it's just something to be mindful of. In general, women spend 3 times as much money on clothing as men, but the fashion industry is represented equally. You look at fashion designers, a lot of the major women brands, less than 50% are actually female designers. And you look at a lot of the major brands, probably 14–15% of those are actually run by female executives. So it's just kind of interesting to think about that, because you're always thinking women are in the forefront of fashion, and if you're panning out to that, in my particular, zoom into my particular field, owning a boutique, we're rocking it. There's a lot of, it's a wonderful community of women that lift each other up and support each other. So to that extent, I don't see any barriers there, but I think it's important to kind of look at the broad spectrum because there are definitely a lot.
Good morning, I'm a city councilwoman for the District 1, and I too am new to the position. And you may know that my husband, Charlie Kinsey, served in that, and when Charlie passed away, I applied and was accepted to finish out his term. The city of Cleveland is an equal opportunity board, and I have to say that I have been welcomed extremely well into the city offices, especially by me. They have been very open, very encouraging to me to run, that I can do this, that I can be a part of the city government. And I am very thankful for the opportunity that I have been given to serve. And I believe women are very intelligent human beings, and we can show up and we can do the job.
All of you. Okay, so I'm Phoebe West, and thank you guys for coming here this morning, and hello on Zoom as well. As far as our profession, we have 105 police officers that work at Cleveland Police Department. 7 of those are females, and it's not because we don't want them. It's because women don't generally want to sign up for our jobs. This, to me, my job is a ministry because I feel like I have opportunity to reach people that maybe a guy doesn't. And it seems like women are like the calm in the storm, and you have a domestic situation, and you have a man that just physically abused a woman, and men come in. Sometimes the women don't feel comfortable speaking to men about what just happened to them. Sometimes if we have a sexual assault or something like that that happens, and it is the suspect is a male, the women don't want to talk to males. So in those kind of cases, we are, it is great for us to be there and to help and to serve the public. So that's my ministry, that's part of who I am. I think that I would like to have more females, and part of that is just being representative. Doing these kind of panels, speaking to your girls and your families, and maybe some of you will say, "Oh, I don't want my little girl to be a police officer," but thankfully we have people that will sign up and want to serve the community in these ways. And so, so girls, if you're interested in being a police officer, come see me when you're 21.
Good morning. The nuclear industry, I like what was said by Raquel in there. Intentional is really the key message. And so I think at TBA and just in general in the industry, there's a lot of opportunities. There's engineering, there's operations, there's training, there's lots of different fields that you can choose and enter into that industry. But we do have work to do to continue to bring in the female population. But I think through recruiting and then mentoring of women, when we do have women come into our industry, come into TBA, that's one of the important things we do, and make sure they know that they have someone they can talk to. It doesn't have to be a female mentor. I've had multiple male mentors that have given me that advice, those opportunities, and just being open to explore different avenues within the nuclear industry has allowed me to progress in my career in that industry.
Thank you so much. That is an amazing thing, this idea of mentoring and recruiting. Speaking of recruiting, I'm an athlete. That's one of my identities as a professional woman and athlete. The interesting thing about our field, sport, is that gender equity, our field didn't move toward it. The women who came up as athletes decided that field was going to be equitable. And if you notice, with women's soccer, women's track and field, so many of our women sport, even at the University of Tennessee, if there wasn't a Pat Summit, if there wasn't a Joan Cronin, We would not have most of the wonderful athletic facilities that we enjoy, like the Thompson Bowling Arena. And so what I'm telling you, even with sport, there was a situation where it had to be demanded. And that is something that I want our girls to understand is when they're not moving towards you, you move towards it. The thing that you are interested in, the thing that you want to do, the thing that has been planted inside of you. And so women in sport, women having the opportunity to participate in sport is still driven by systemic oppression, ideas about what a woman can and cannot do. And so one of the things that I am focused on with gender equity in sport is making sure that there's access to education, not just at the undergraduate level, but all the way up to the PhD level. So in sport psychology specifically, it is a white male dominated field, but there are women that have just not taken no for an answer, and their scholarship, their ability to go into football locker rooms, basketball, especially, at the University of Tennessee, has been unparalleled, unprecedented. And so here we are, we're moving towards it instead of it moving towards us.
So, y'all have to project and that. Okay. So next I want to talk to you and really center girlhood. So when we're talking about girls, you've all been one at some point. What advice would you give yourself as a girl? You're talking to your inner child. What advice would you give? And anybody feel free, anybody.
So I'll start here. I'm kind of passionate about this. I would say, as a young girl, and I think a lot of women can probably relate to this, there's a tendency to want to please people, to make people happy. You grow up thinking that, and when you get into a field where you have to do a lot for yourself, put yourself first. I mean, in life, you have to put yourself first. But to be demanding and to ask for the things you need, to seek out the things you need, you're not going to make everybody happy, and you don't have to. And I told my daughters that. I think it's one of the first things I've been telling my daughters as they've been getting to an age where they need to hear those things. It's that, put yourself first, put yourself out there. You're going to have to be uncomfortable at times, but that's where you need to be. And it's okay to fail. I think those are the two biggest things. You don't have to make everybody happy. It's okay to fail because, you've heard the cliche, it's not really failure, you don't try. It's only a failure if you don't try, but it's really true. Everything you do is kind of a stepping stone to the next thing. So if one thing doesn't work out, you're on to the next thing. So don't make everybody happy. You don't have to, and it's okay to fail.
Yeah, failing. Let's talk about failing. Hey, listen, we cannot move to the next point if we don't know that this point didn't work for us. And so, as a little girl growing up in the late 60s in a very small town in Virginia, I listened to and learned from the people around me. And the thing that I would tell the little girl in me is that you do not have to be perfect. Perfection is a lie from the pit of hell. Like, it is what other people see you as is only a small part of who you can be. You get to decide who you will be. It's not whether you can do it. We see other women do it all the time. It really is about whether you will. Your will is the most important part of the equation in life. Your decision to try. And having courage is the key. And having courage isn't about whether you're scared or not. We're all scared. Being fearful is helpful. It gives us good information about whether we should proceed or not. But once you realize, okay, I am fearful, and that's okay. I'm going to do it anyway. So I say, do it afraid. And know that on the other side of that fear, there are things for you that you could never imagine. So No perfection. That's not what this is about. This is about growing and becoming who it is that you decide you want to be. Now, of course, our parents are wonderful parts of who we become as people. I'm an only child. My mother raised me on her own, and she gave me honesty and hardworking as great attributes. But she also let me go out into the world and do things that she could have never dreamed of. And so be willing to do things maybe that the other people around you aren't doing, and that it's okay.
I'm a huge proponent of education, and I'll tell you why, because it provides so many opportunities. Now, that wasn't something that I wanted to do. I did not like school, and I did not want to go to college. I experienced 2 unplanned pregnancies while a teenager. My first was 16, and my second was 19. And it came to that head when my parents packed my bags and made me move to Cleveland, Tennessee to attend college. I did not want to come here. I did not want to go to school. I was actually on a spiral going downhill. And I was in a very bad place in my life. And so my parents physically put me on a plane, and the plane flew from Los Angeles, California to Atlanta, Georgia. Someone from Lee College picked me up. My parents had secured an apartment here for me, and I stepped on the campus of Lee College and experienced people that cared about me and teachers that really took time to see potential in me and pour into me and help me through that experience. I graduated in 2001 with a bachelor's degree. I had plans to be a missionary or to help in somewhere in South or Central America, but God had other plans for me. And so I stayed here, and I've been a police officer. I graduated from graduate school in 2019 with a master's in public safety, and which I'm very proud of because it's something that I did work hard to do, but it opened up so much more opportunity for me. So now I'm a police officer, but as a second job, I'm also a teacher at Tennessee Wesleyan, and I'm teaching criminal justice classes online. So education opens up so much more opportunity for you. So I would say go for it. Like as much as you may not like school, you may love it, but just say I need to do it because it's important for me to gain more knowledge, to be confident, helps with your self-esteem, and helps with confidence. And just as much as you can, try to make that your life's objective, to get an education and go toward your passion.
Mistakes. A very wise person once told me that mistakes are opportunities to learn, and that helped me tremendously. As a little girl, I remember the story about the little red engine trying to get up the hill. Couldn't hardly make it, but he kept saying, I can't, I know I can. And that's what young girls today need to remember. They can. They're wonderfully made by a wonderful creator, and they're intelligent, and they can get out there and they can be a part of whatever it is that they're designed to do. If they study, if they prepare themselves, and they just show up, they can make their mark. Thank you.
I would just say, just to follow your dreams and to have the courage to do so. You know, for me, I wanted to be in fashion for as long as I can remember. I was a little girl. I would tear out the ads from fashion magazines and want to make really cool books and things with them. And it's just one of those things that was always a dream of mine, but that I didn't ever think would actually come to fruition. And so that would be the biggest thing, is just to believe in yourself and to really follow the dreams and don't let other people tell you otherwise.
And I would tell myself to challenge everything you believe, challenge everything you think. I never thought I would be a city council person. In addition to this, I work at the church. That just wasn't what I was going to do. I was going to be an insurance broker. I own my own insurance company, and I was going to own condo on the river. That's what I was going to do. And my mind is still there. So that was what I wanted to do. But follow along what God would have you to do, and He will put you in a position to do those things. You just have to challenge what you've learned, and be willing to accept all those failures. I echo all the sentiments of these wonderful ladies up here. Challenge everything you've learned. It's okay to fail, and maybe your dream is a common career, but God may place you somewhere else, and you'll be just as happy because God is working with you the entire time. So that's where I am. I would tell myself that just challenge what you think, follow God, and let it roll.
Okay, so when we're talking about each of your experiences, a woman named Kimberly Crenshaw made a very called intersectionality, that we each have different identities that work together to create unique experiences and position us uniquely within the world. So how do your different identities, how do those intersecting identities play into how you work towards gender and how gender equity comes a priority?
Would you like to explain identities?
Sure, identities could be religion, race and ethnicity, disability, disability, anything that defines who you are as a person. So Sharon can talk about her identities now. So even that.
Can I jump in? Yeah. I'm so passionate about this. Like, this is my question. So think about all the things that we are trying to do from a gender perspective. For example, we just had the 100-year women's suffrage celebration where women were given the opportunity to vote. However, and during that time, because of other identities, such as race, which is socially constructed, we know that we're all a part of the human race. We know that when we cut ourselves, we bleed red, and that our humanness is what keeps us never separated. We are always the same. However, we are socialized to believe certain things about what it means to be human. So for some folks, what it means to be human is that they are a color or they are a race. That is something that's been put on us, not something that's inherently a part of who we are. However, it operates daily. And so intersectionality comes into play, specifically Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989 was talking about the ability of at the time, an African-American Black woman who worked at a factory, and she really wanted to, she wanted to get a job at a factory. And she couldn't get the job because she wasn't a white woman and she wasn't a Black man. And so coming back to what I do in sports psychology is while there has been 50 to 60 years of great women's work in this field, what we noticed recently is that it was amazing white women who were doing great work, and identities such as LGBTQ+, ability, they were being addressed in research. However, Black women were not being addressed. And so at 50 years old, I decided to get a PhD. I would not recommend, anyway, get it when you can. But I had already had this amazing career. Sports psychology had helped me out so much. Yet, I felt like the only avenue that Black women had in this field would come through me deciding to break that ceiling, to just say it out loud. We need Black women to be researched in sports psychology. So my push towards true bringing intersectionality to the forefront was saying, it's not just about different identities. Kimberly Crenshaw was really talking about the fact that when you can be blocked as a woman and blocked because you're of a certain cultural or ethnic background, man, that's tough. It is interlocking. It is multiple. And so it's very important to not just look at gender. That's what intersectionality is saying. It's important to look at all the identities that come to converge in the middle. And so I'll be the first African-American woman to get a PhD at the University of Tennessee in their sports psychology program. And you say, wow, that's great. And it also shows us how far we need to go in equity for all. And I'm just excited that we're having these conversations. And it's not about making people feel bad. It's about making people feel like it's important to know. And then, of course, to go and do something about it.
Mine is just real quick, as far as identity, as African American woman, as a Christian, what informs me is, first and foremost, is just love the language, love myself. And that to me, if I'm able to, first I have to love myself, which I do love myself very much. And then once I understand that, I can look past whatever perceived barriers people believe they have, or whatever it is, and say, you know what, yes, there's a lot of work to be done, but the bottom line is I need to love my neighbors, I love myself as God loves me. And I know that sounds simple, but that's pretty much how my identities have informed my work in general. That we can do it too, because I do, they do, and God loves us.
I was just going to add, I think what Sharon said, it really is a pretty recent conversation that it's being brought out. Because I'll tell you just personally, it's only been in the last year, I would say, that I've been exposed to this conversation. And it's only from speaking with women of color that need those opportunities, that need to be heard. You know, we talk about it quite a bit, but I look at, you know, just the population, and that's why I talked about recruiting earlier. It is important to get a diverse group in the door and give people those opportunities, but we have to have a conversation. And I think that's where we're at right now, is at the part of the conversation. So the more we're knowledgeable of it and talking about it, that's going to continue that improvement.
Why is it important, for example, y'all are probably thinking, why is it important that there are Black women sports psychology professionals? Why is there? Because there are Black little girls who have unique experiences, not as, you know, not as a white girl, not as a Black boy, but as whatever their culture, their ethnicity is, and that should be addressed. And so from a research standpoint, how am I supposed to sit down with a young Black athlete that's trying to move up, and they are struggling with whether they're going to protest, whether they're going to, you know, point out when they have a microaggression or a microassault, whether they feel like they belong and they're part of the team. And so those interventions only come through research. And if there's no one to do the research because they're not recruiting, retaining, and resourcing of young Black girls to go through the field, then you know, they get left out.
I would just like to say, we need to grow where we're planted. We're individuals, we're not cookie cutter people. We all have our backgrounds, our atmospheres we grew up in, our environments. As you can tell, I'm about the color of my hair, I'm probably the oldest person on this panel. That doesn't make me the wisest necessarily, but I have experience being a wife, mother, grandmother, and a great-grandmother. But I've also been a businesswoman. I've had many years of experience in the workplace as well as in the home. And yes, I can be a wife. Yes, I can be a grandmother. And yes, I can perform the responsibilities of each of these roles. And yet I can be in the workforce as well.
It's probably, but I would just say, with respect to what I do, a shop, you know, picking the inventory that I'm going to sell in the shop. I have a very effective taste of trying different things. The fashion, as far as style, has really evolved over the years, I'm sure. We've seen, I mean, used to have to wear, used to have to wear dresses and pantyhose and heels to work and to church and all the things. And it's really definitely evolved from that, which I love. I've never been a big rule follower when it comes to fashion. I feel like it's very important to wear whatever makes you feel confident and feel beautiful. And if that's a t-shirt and jeans, then great. If that's a sequin dress, then great, and anything in between. And when you come to the shop, you see others. Like I said, I think that it's so important to, you know, you can express yourself with what you're putting on your body. I think it's a great way to make a statement and to express who you are. And so I just think I love the fact now that that's such a diverse range as far as what we can wear and feel still beautiful and feminine. And anyways, I think that's my take on experience.
So my next question, I think all of y'all are experts in your field and have a lot of knowledge. So I'm going to ask you to look to the future and apply that knowledge. And what do you think the challenges are going to be for girls in the future?
Just kind of going back to what I touched on before, I think it's just really just staying true to what you want to do. I think that just continuing to move towards women having more important roles in the fashion industry, I think will change what the working conditions are for the people that are working for them. We do try to support businesses that support women and empower women. So one of our brands, they kind of do a project for our brands at local level, they do it on global level, and their mission is working alongside women through situations and poverty, and teaching them how to make jewelry, handbags, and shoes, and all of the things to basically give them their wages and give them a better chance at life than maybe they would have had. So we partner with businesses that do that and give back and really try to empower women whenever we can. And then also just supporting each other as women. It's just important. It's important to lift each other up. But that would be the biggest thing, is to just believe in yourself and build up all the other lady friends. I've got a community of classmates that I surround myself with, and I think it's just important to believe in yourself and do that.
I think the area of government is wide open for women. We see, a lady vice president of the United States. I think the woman in today's society to be anywhere that they would choose to do. So if they just apply themselves, they study, they desire to do that, and they can just get on board.
Yeah, I think same thing with the nuclear industry and technical fields in general. It's all about the interest. I think I don't predict any different challenges in the future. I think if there's an interest there and women continue to feel included, women have an outlet in those fields. Already accepted, but more work to do in those fields. But I do want to add on, because I think it was a very important point, is supporting each other. So when you see that not happening, you need to be aware of it, and then you need to recognize it and call it out. So I'll just give an example. When you're in a meeting, we're not in meetings very often now, probably at your age, but when you're in the classroom and you see a girl or a woman bring up a point and it gets dismissed, and the same point 5 minutes later brought up by a male counterpart that gets taken on as a great idea and run with, call out the originator of that idea. and recognize that individual. Those are things, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna need to call those things out and let people know that, you know, and you don't have to point out that anybody did anything wrong. Just by pointing it out and calling it out makes everybody recognize what's going on. So I mean, that continues to happen. As a woman, you need to continue to call it out, and that's how you can support your fellow women and your fellow girls.
Amplification, amplifying someone else's voice, being an ally to each other as women, no matter what color, shape, age, and relationship. Have a team, a network. That is how resiliency, you know, is built. You know, we have these terms called leadership. We have terms that I just said, resilience. These are things that none of us are really born with. You know how they say, you know, you're a natural leader. Well, that you might be a natural communicator. You might be the one to always speak up. But understand that there are skills and abilities that you can learn. If you feel like you want to grow in an area, if you feel like you're an introvert or you're shy, that can also be something that is a good thing. You know, as an athlete, I came along at a time where I was called a tomboy. You know, like in the late 60s in the South, I felt like I had to choose between being a girl, right, being feminine, being, you know, thought of as a girl. In fact, my nickname in high school was the fastest man in the NFL. That because I would lead boys during lunch and take their lunch money, which is a whole different thing. So just, you know, understand that you can gain the skills that will help you to be successful, to get to the goals that you want for yourself. I can't, you know, kind of say that enough. It really isn't about what other people expect out of you. It is about what you expect, what you invite yourself to become a part of. And so I think skills and abilities can be gained in this way. I call them the 3 C's. I was a Division I coach, and so I do talk like a coach at times. And they're this: competence. When I talk about skills and abilities for girls going into the future, competence and practice cannot be avoided. They're in fact to be embraced. And within that practice, within getting competence, there's going to be mistakes, right, that we talked about earlier, and those are just opportunities to keep moving forward. The only way for girls not to get to where they want to go is to stop. Secondly, confidence. Once you are competent, then you can move towards feeling like, hey, I got this. And then once you move towards that idea of I'm competent, I'm confident, then no matter what room you're in, no matter what else you're going for, you'll be able to compete. And that is really what it's about. It comes down to, they don't believe that women can compete because of what? Not being competent and not being confident. And so take those 3 C's and just go forward, because not only can you, the real question is, as I said earlier, will you?
I do want to ask, so many of us kind of have built our lives on the wise women who have come before us, who often have miracle mothers to credit, they deserve. So in this moment, is there any advice you can see from women, other women, who really do achieve what you're achieving today? What
would say advice we received from, of course, my mom. She's fantastic. She's always been, of course, my hugest encourager, no matter what I was doing. I was in a band, I was trying to study for a test, or it doesn't matter. She just I always treated me and my sister like we were the greatest people in the whole world. And I'm sure her we are. So prior to a lot of my school teachers, this was elementary school, they were just fantastic. They never accepted anything less from us. I mean, if I was in their class, they knew I could make an A and I came out with a B, I would have to retake tests. Like it was no exception to greatness. And I think that is what I've got as I've gone along, especially now in city council. I'm in a sorority, and just the circle of women that I have around me, amazing. Like they encourage me so much. I love it. I can run to any one of them, and they're always like, "We're just so proud of you," and they are invested in my success as a city council person. Like if it's something I need, if I send out an email say, "Hey, I need help with this," they're there. If I need donations or anything, and so I think echoing back to something that was said earlier, just supporting each other. So women of the past, of course, like I said, my mom, my granny, my aunt, it's just my family. It's just a lot of strong women that just, they always make me feel like I can do anything. And they still do. And it's a wonderful feeling to have that type of support system. And I wish every girl, every person had that type of support system that made them feel confident in everything they did. Even if it was like the latest thing, they just always let me feel like I was a champion. Even though I'm like, I don't know why they were supporting that I got perfect attention. But it made me feel so like, I can go to school and I can go to school and just be great because they just made me feel that way all the time. So if y'all have little ladies in your life, make them feel that way. Celebrate them for the small accomplishment, perfect attendance, or a good A on the test, or a C on the test, or whatever they tried their hardest. And having that support is so important. So for me, that's what, from women from my past, and I think my mom's still alive, and they still do that. Like they'll call and just encourage me. They say, "No, we see you showing out doing what? I'll just take a picture." But they just, it is fantastic. So I just want to thank everyone that has supported me in the past, because it is amazing to have that type of those type of people supporting you, and then having that circle of women around you that may not be your family, but they are just invested in your success, and the same way I'm invested in their success.
Yeah, just to echo that, my mom and both of my grandmothers, I have so much respect for them. And one of my grandmothers, her husband, my grandfather, was in World War II. And so the women went to work, and she worked on the railroad of all places. So I was not fully back then. Yeah, just strong and spiritual women in my life that were just incredible role models, and that would never accept me being down on myself or doubting myself, and just really pushing me to follow my dreams and to succeed in whatever it may be, and to be patient, because that's a really important part of getting where you need to go. Just keeping kind of your eye on the prize, but understanding that it's going to take work, hard work, and perseverance, and commitment to get there. So
I have to say the same. Grandmother, my aunt, and all my lady friends have always encouraged me to step forward and be there. But I was recently given a very wonderful compliment by my granddaughter, who have to a fast surprise. But it was my birthday, and she posted what I had meant to her, what my life had meant to her. Unknowingly, not really thinking about it. My everyday life, all the things that I have done, I've been on the mission field, so and now I'm on the city council, not realizing it, but this is all a wonderful example to her of what she can do, what place women can have. She has chosen to be her wife and mother, and she's very happy in that role. So each one of us, we can look at our mothers, our aunts, our lady friends, and we can draw encouragement from that. And we can step out, and I know I keep saying that, be there, but if we don't show up, you know, we're not gonna get anything done.
I had a fifth grade friend from preschool probably to fifth grade. I got spanked every day. Every day. And I'll tell you why. Because I couldn't sit in my seat, and I couldn't stay in my seat because I felt like everyone else in my classroom needed my help. And I couldn't stop talking. So every day I got spanked, and my behavior didn't change. But in fifth grade, Pat Shepherd, she was an older woman. She was my teacher. And she noticed this about me. So she kept me busy. And she said, oh, Evie, since you're finished, if you want to help everyone else, you can help me and you can water the plants while the other students are working. And oh, well, now that you're finished with that, you can take the trash out. And she just kept me busy so I wouldn't bother the other students. And so we had open house one night, and I was just so proud. I loved her, Miss Shepherd. He's affirmed me so much. And so my mother came in the room, and Miss Shepherd said, oh, Miss Langstra, your daughter is perfect. And my mom said, no, she's not, and don't you ever tell her that. And I was so disappointed because my mom has always encouraged me and loved me, and I was treated very great at home. But my mom never let me think that I was better than anybody else. And she taught me servant leadership. And the reason why that worked good for me in this position is because I come in contact with women who are single moms, who live in public housing, who are addicted to drugs, who are homeless, and I could go on with extracurricular activities that probably we don't agree with in our life, but I do not compete with them. I do not even talk to them like I am better than them. And I think that the Lord allows me to be in this position to treat people. I don't care who they are or what they've done or what they're involved in at the time, but to treat people with respect. And to love people because He loves them. And so I think that was key. So my mom actually helped me in that. Secondly, oh, you're recording on Zoom. I had the worst female supervisor in my life for years. It was so bad, I had ulcers, I got physically sick. And I was gonna change my profession, and for whatever reason, I mean, the Lord moved me from her and put me somewhere else. And it has made me, I think, the best supervisor because I have seen and experienced who I do not want to be. And so while I fought that as much as I could, she taught me invaluable lessons that I will forever be grateful for that time.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. My mom, her name is Juanita, she's 4'11", and so I'm just kind of, y'all haven't seen me stand up, but I'm an Amazon. And, you know, my mom has always been just so unbelievably tough and strong, even through, you know, just a lot of challenging things that happened between, you know, her and my dad. And it was just kind of her and I. And so now I find myself giving these like Juanita-isms. And one of those that she said all the time was, I can show you better than I can tell you. And isn't that true? You know, that is what I've done. I have dreams of that I was the only one to go out of high school, go out of state to go to college. I went to an 80 people I graduated with. I went to kindergarten with these kids all the way through. And now I've been all over the world. I've met princes and presidents and all those kind of things because my mom would say, I can show you better than I can tell you. And there was an Irish woman who was a spiritual counselor. I was in seminary for a short time. I realized that God really just wanted me to get healed and not go into ministry, but it was a wonderful program that helped Christians really start living free, because I tend to be rigid and a perfectionist and I have to do everything right, and I have to be really hard on myself, and I was blocking my relationship with God by trying to be perfect. And anyway, she had this wonderful Irish brogue, I won't try, and she was helping me get through a miscarriage. I had one of my children, and my second child is with God, and I was really struggling with it because I felt like my body had betrayed me. And she said, Sharon, if you could focus on these three things, if you could avoid judging yourself. You know, when God made us, it's all good. Whatever it is, it might feel bad at the time, but it's good because He's gonna make it good for you. And then, you know, don't compare. Avoid comparing. Your story isn't my story. That's the beauty of having a panel. And so that was some of the best advice, because now you gotta stop yourself, because we are designed to go, I like those shoes. Oh man, I could never have shoes like that. You know what I'm saying? And then that third thing is compartmentalizing yourself. We cut ourselves up in boxes. We take our identities and we say, I'm going to be this person here for you. I'm going to be that person here for you. And as a woman, as a girl, be all of yourself, all of the time, from all of you and what you need to bring. And so those are the three things that she is an amazing, amazing woman that changed the trajectory of my life. And I think sitting and hearing those things, they come up in your head, you know, what your grandma says, what your mom says, take it and use it in your life.
So I'm gonna ask a question, and we've got about 5 minutes left, and we're gonna see if there's what inspires you, what hurts you have for goals today?
My daughters inspire me. I look at where they are right now. I have an 18-year-old daughter, an almost 16-year-old son, and a 10-year-old daughter. And I just look at where they are, and I compare where I was to where they are at their age, and that's a good thing. And I just think that the fierce independence and the willing to be assertive, it's such a drastic change, and their ability to do that and to not be afraid to do that and to put themselves out there, that inspires me, because I know there's other girls out there just like them moving forward with that same mentality. And so I just know that the improvement is just gonna continue to keep going.
Yeah, just trying, the fact that they're willing to try, I think is the thing that inspires me the most. That they take those calculated risks that I would never, you know, have dreamed of. Think about Allison Felix, who looks at Nike and says, you know what? I don't need you. I have got to a point where I can go to a different brand, a brand for women, by women, and I can survive. And so those kinds of choices inspire me to say, yeah, I am enough. And I think that is what they're screaming with the choices that they're making.
What inspires me, justice inspires me, equity inspires me, because it all boils down for me, to love to know your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and then treat others the way you want to be treated, and to be justice, equity, all that boils down to showing people the love that God shows them. And so those things inspire me. That's what inspires me to run. That's what inspires me to work out every day. My community is that if I can't do anything else, I can try my best to show people the love that God shows me. And so that is what inspires me, is justice and equity, and just treating people right, and letting them know that somebody loves you, God loves you. And if I can do anything to represent God, I will.
So we've got 2 minutes left. Does anybody have questions for any of our?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put that on right now. I'm going to share my screen.
Why I held off my initial answer, because I wanted to hear what most of the women up here said about women that have inspired them. But for me, in my career, which is a fairly male-dominated industry, most of the people that have given me the inspiration, have provided that mentoring for me, have been men and have opened ideas to me, shown me where I can get opportunities to enter different things, have different experiences in the workforce, and ultimately encouraged me to be where I'm at today in my career. So I think most of the people that have provided that inspiration have been men.
My dad came to the United States in 1969 from Mexico. He came from a very, very poor family, took a bus here after getting a 3-year scholarship to Lee College. So he came to a different country, did not know any English, and then graduated from a college, married my mom, became a pilot, and has worked very hard for our family. So he inspires me, because I don't know if I could go to another country and don't speak the language and be just as successful. I don't know. I mean, but he inspires me, and my chief and command staff of the police department have been pushing me and saying, hey, you know, there's more for you here. And so I've always gotten that respect and love and support from them. So I'm very, very grateful. That's a really good question. Thank you.
For men that have inspired me, especially in my career field, I said, I mentioned earlier, I work for my church, but before that, I still do work with a collective of Black pastors. And so that's where I started my civic engagement. I started with voter registration, education forums, things like that, with them. And so among them, it would be them, all these Black pastors, and then me, and they were all good. But it was always fun working with them because I'm an administrator at heart. So I'm a planner. I love planning stuff, follow all kinds of things, things like this. But working with them was fantastic because I got a chance to see the dynamic of the work that they do. And they've always they've inspired me to just go for it. You know, if there's something you see wrong, something that's going on, you can do something about it. You can impact it. Whether it's with them or with another group, but that has been career-wise, especially going into politics. That is where I started with it. A collection of African-American male pastors that I just moved down in a different way. And I really like it.
No, absolutely. What an amazing question. There's a great TED Talk about feminism, which, you know, in some places can be, you know, a dirty word, right? This idea that women should be empowered and not oppressed, but the key to feminism, to promoting and ending oppression for all people is in men, because they hold the power. They hold the power, they hold the position based on how our society is structured. And so the men that have inspired us have all been very intentional, right? They've been fathers, coaches for me, that didn't just, you know, coach me as any other athlete, but understood the challenges that I would face as a female, as a woman, and sought to get those challenges and those barriers removed, sometimes at their own cost, at their own peril, at their own power. And so, yes, there have been many coaches and teachers, and even a boss that I had that told me, Sharon, I know you want to get a PhD right now, but you really need to keep working, because you can get that PhD, but at your age, you're not going to be able to find a job if you don't have experience. And him telling me no and telling me the truth allowed me to be able to be where I am now. And so, very keen observation, and I can't wait to talk to you after.
What motivated y'all to do what we do?
I'll answer it. Okay. Sorry. So much that's given, much is required. I love God with all my heart. It is the reason why I'm here. The talent that I was given to run
It wasn't just for me, it was, for me to give back. And so, this morning I got up and I drove from Knoxville to be here for you. I do believe that what I do on a daily basis, whether it's in the office or whether it's on the track, it's for those who would come after. So I've been given much, and so that's what motivates me.
This is the front end to both questions you asked. It was actually my husband and other people that encouraged me to apply for this office. My husband has helped me that he wasn't going to live much longer, and he asked me would I consider running and filling this position, filling out his term. So he encouraged me. And then I sought out the advice of me, because the council at that time made up of all men. A woman on there, not the first, I'm the fourth woman to serve on the city council. But I sought out the advice of men that I had respect for, and they all encouraged me to go for it, that I could do it. And that has been a real blessing for me, because here I am as a woman, I'm serving all these men, and I do this. And they assure me I can, and that meant a lot to me.
So, do you have any idea why there's not that many shoes for girls? Because that's all I wear.
Yes, I do. One of the classes that I took in my master's was talk about women's sport and culture. And so, there are all these things that girls have to socialize. So in America, we socialize girls to like me and to like doing things that are, dog houses and all those kind of things. And we socialize boys to like Luke and G.I. Joe and those kind of things. And so as we were talking this morning about equity comes into play when someone, a man, who is at a very high level says, girls should be able to wear blue shoes. And so what's crazy is yesterday I was talking to my boss about navy blue pumps and how hard it is to find navy blue pumps. And so I love that it's at every level. But those are the reasons. Money drives what is offered to the society. And until someone decides in fashion that, hey, it's okay to have more blue shoes for girls, then it won't happen. And that's where equity comes in. Equity is different than being equal. Equal means that everybody gets the same. That's impossible from different standpoints. But equity means that you put a box up so that everybody can still do it no matter how tall you are. So it's taking a company that's interested in making blue shoes for girls and having grants or having seed money that will help them get into that industry. But you're probably better to answer that question than I am.
Honestly, it's a good question. It's a good question, and it's one of those things that I wish I had the power to control, but I don't. I just get to pick from the things that are out there and hear them in the shop, and I get to really control what there is. I wanted to be a fashion designer, honestly. I studied fashion design in college, and then very, very quickly that very, very crucial. Fashion designer, so fashion merchandising. Yeah, I do find fashion has definitely evolved. I think it definitely has more to go, but there a lot of the old beliefs and old stigmas of, well, I'm not supposed to wear white after Labor Day, or, well, no, wear it all year long. Perfectly fine. Oh, I can't wear navy and black together. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Oh, rust and olive and mustard is only fall colors. No, you can wear it year round. There's just a lot of things that I think that that I don't see as barriers that a lot of people are trying to use. Like you kind of said, are socialized to think a certain way. But anyways, I really do believe that it has evolved a lot. It's not just about skinny jeans anymore. There's skinny jeans, there's flare jeans, there's straight legs, there's palazzo pants. Literally anything goes in the fashion world right now, and I love that. That you can wear pretty much. So don't know why there's no working shoes. If I see some, I'll get some for the show. But we don't do a lot with shoes. So.
We got one comment. My favorite color is blue and my least favorite color is pink.
I want to be respectful of everybody's time and don't have a video to watch, so I'm gonna cut it off here, but I do want everybody to go about the class. Thank you so much for being here.
Jesse, having your microphone, would you mind saying, introducing your video?
This is my video about Rosemary Mariner, who was one of the first naval aviators. And so like I talk about the challenges that she faced being one of the first, and just other women, people that have inspired her, kind of where she went, and she died a couple years ago. So this is my video about it. Anything else you say?
Sure. That's perfect. I was just going to let you introduce your video.
Women have been breaking barriers of the United States military since the
well, the first woman qualified for the year, taking the state government. However, the 1948 was the armed forces Act. We were still learning about live stream. The other first was asking to interrupt their own meetings, they were all born. However, the controversy wasn't taken. 1977, there was a effort to discuss communism. On their first day in communism, only 14 years, she was right, she accepted the person. They made that change. On your button, I made 15 early on what we were doing. There was one side, she lied, it was actually clear from the time. In 1978, another victory was achieved in the United States. The federal judge ruled that an equal state unconstitutional. Congress bill 716 and U.S. Code 510. This change about certain amounts of action. The law offers for a state of affairs, nothing first, you don't get private, trying to get out there, you have to there is still a proof power. For one secretary today, different growth. In these ways, we are trying to accelerate theory. And perhaps they are. They're the boss. And they belong to society and men are made from. In 1990, during Operation Desert Storm, Canada obtained the first woman, May Flood, in 1834. At the change of command ceremony, Rear Admiral did operate the plane. Rosemary Ann did not say that she wanted. She did not say that she was flying for a year. And Rosemary Ann received because of her want by significant performance of the first law. She did nearly the right place that was over the years, Aaron strongly advocated for the right. Strong activity without issues. Sure, any argument partly for combat. She stressed. The American Women Party has staffed their message they are putting on the fight. The end maintained that limiting women's ability hurts on volunteers and to another problem. She also declared physical strength is not important intelligence. She stated, in modern warfare, the emphasis is on operational strength, but operational efficiency and focus. She said, it's great to be helpful. I agree. Her said, because the Army fight women policy, women will be first in the battle, and not in the job. Our survey shows in 1995, the majority of the United States public would support women fighting in combat. However, many disagree, and our majority of the voice that women aren't represented, and there is about 64 stated. The ancient tradition against women's support in combat brought in genius wisdom in ways. It expresses the most basic inherently which is struggle. People are hero and overcoming God, United States Marine Corps, expressed by saying, in June 1992, the American testified in the Regional Commission. There was support for women combat. It's a congressional hearing for about 20 years behind. The Union women have chosen to strike while women still. It is something about the what has happened to the American character and its black party and her woman. In 1993, Jeremy voted captain of Virginia, but the Commission on Assignment to the Armed Forces recommended the combat campaign. However, the Department of Defense changed the policy and allowed authorized combat missions. These efforts help 2013 college change, we are working from combat. However, it's unknown especially for this choice. 3 years later, the organization was going, as you know, by the work, please drive me. I was able to decide to learn to combat. She takes that sharing the sharing the staff, the military studies, national college. She was able to teach in 1997. She came over to college for university. Military college, not where she has started. She plays university. The last day of July, the doctor said, "We're very change." She replied, I can be excited to be 24, 2019 for very change. Very teacher of people. She is honored with first talking and Friday, 16. Also, I especially campaign to win some pride. She achieved her training practice and she was happy for other sports.
Thank you, Jesse, for sharing that with us. That was very informative, and we're so happy to have you here with us today. I did want to take just a moment. We can have some more questions if you don't have time of anything past questions on your way out. On this table over here, there's a computer set up with what is called a Padlet. If there's any tidbit of information that you would like to write into the Padlet with something that you learned or found inspirational about today, you can do that. Those are shared with the Smithsonian and is part of their national summit. It's not a requirement, but if you would like to put something on their Padlet, they would appreciate it, and I think it would be a lot of fun. There's also some information on your tables about, we did record this. If you are under 18 and have a child here, if you wouldn't mind filling that out, just so we have your permission in case you're on video. I don't think nobody is, because the video's up here, so you should be okay. We also have a list of upcoming events at the museum if you'd like to take one of those. We hope you enjoyed the program today and that you come back and enjoy it again next time. And I think we have at least one more question. So, oh, it's not a question?
Thank you all for coming today to this event. It means a lot to me.
It does. Thank you so much, Elise. Elise is our youngest employee, as she says. She listens to all of my conversations, and she knows just as much about what's going on here as I do. So thank you all for joining us. Is there anyone else that has a question before we end it? Okay. Thank you so much. There's still plenty of food. Help us all. Thank you so much.